Everything in this Foghorn is from dev posts and the public test and is subject to change, including potential release dates. Today, we don't talk about carriers. Well, mostly. Greetings, I'm Stats and this is Foghorn. I read things so you don't have to. It's been an extremely eventful week with a hotfix to 080, which has seen some balance changes to AA damage over time, and Wargaming are definitely homing in on the right balance for AA, and much more quickly than I'd anticipated, so good job Ouija. CCs get to peek behind the curtain, and let me assure you that they have been working very hard this week indeed. PTS round 1 for update 081 went live on Thursday. 081 will give early access to the British carrier line. You may have seen me testing on Twitch, but they aren't quite ready for testing on PTS yet. So PTS contains the associated aviation event and updated London port, but no carriers as yet. I expect them to be available for test on PTS next weekend. Daily shipments will return in 8.1 with a few goodies to collect just for logging in, including some premium time and some containers from the aviation event. These new containers look quite unusual and we'll see a couple of those being opened shortly. The Fly Strike Win directives continue in 8.1 with the now familiar format of daily missions and a weekly Hall of Fame. Rewards include 2 temporary currencies, florins and crowns. These will allow early access to the British carrier line, but exactly how hasn't been shown in the arsenal yet. No doubt you'll be able to exchange them for researchable ships instead of grinding them, and maybe, I'm guessing, a freemium carrier, but don't quote me on that. The air supply containers look really unusual and contain items from the new Naval Aviation Collection. This collection contains naval aviation themed items, and the rewards are alternative camo schemes for British and Commonwealth ships. The colour scheme is not to my taste, but it's nice to have a choice. It will also give you the ability to mount 2 flags on British carriers. Container opening has also had an update. Got lots of containers at once? Well, now you can open them all with one click, and a nice summary is shown of everything you got, and you simply mouse over for more information. The London port has had a winter makeover for the Naval Aviation event to celebrate the release of the British carriers, and as a Londoner myself, this snowy scene makes a nice change from the usual constant grey drizzle. 081 will see a change to the way flooding works. Ships will now have 2 flooding zones, fore and aft, and up to 2 floods can run simultaneously. Floods will do overall less damage and be far more similar to fires. If you're not sure how to use the damage control party under the new scheme, my advice would be to treat fires and floods as the same. If you wouldn't press repair for one fire, don't press repair with one flood. Letting a flood run now is far less dangerous. However, because players are likely to let a flood run, flooding damage dealt will be globally higher, so this isn't necessarily the nerf to torpedoes that it first appears to be. For full facts and figures, see the relevant dev post on the Warships Facebook page. Radar and hydroacoustic search will see a UI change in 8.1. Now, when a friendly ship uses one of those consumables, an automatic chat message appears, an icon appears over the ship, and a swoosh goes out over the water to show the extent of the range. This is a really nice update, but I fed back to Wargaming that I prefer if the symbol stayed over the ship for the entire duration. If you're looking the other way, it can take a few moments to work out who radared from the chat messages. Radar itself is also changing in a few ways. A 6-second period is being introduced during which only the radaring ship can see enemies lit up by radar, with friendlies only able to see the position on the minimap. After those 6 seconds, everyone can see the ship normally. This 6-second timer is held for every individual enemy ship and resets if they leave the radar and enter again. The idea is that when radared, you have 6 seconds to take defensive measures. To compensate for the change in whole team duration, shorter radars are being increased by 5 seconds, so this does not include the American high-tier radar, for example. Radar ranges are also being simplified, with Russian 11.7 km radar being increased to around 12 km, and American heavy cruiser radar being increased to around 10 km. American light cruisers and a few other ships are unaffected by the range change. Check in port after the update if you're not sure of the new ranges for your ships. The port interface has been particularly laggy since update 8.0 hit, and Wargaming have made some updates which should help it behave more smoothly. We've been asked to test this in PTS, but because PTS is generally faster than the live servers, it's honestly very difficult to tell if there's been an improvement, but hopefully it will help when the update goes live. The Russian battleships have been released for preview to super testers and CCs on PTS. We're not allowed to show any game footage, but several CCs have produced import content regarding their stats and armor layouts. As there's already some great content out there, I won't cover the Russian BBs just yet. Instead, I recommend Jingle's 30-minute run-through on his YouTube channel. The ships certainly have some interesting characteristics, and as a battleship lover, I can't wait to play them. Finally, the Shards map is seeing a major redesign with a more symmetrical island layout. The northern sea cap is fairly similar, but the A and B caps are radically different to the live version of the map. Tight channels have been opened up, and more cover has been introduced in the map's centre. This change is so radical that this will probably play like an entirely new map. However, I do quite like the layout, and a couple of games on PTS make me think this should be a good map for all ship classes with ample opportunity to position your ship to maximise its strengths. Don't forget there will be another hotfix to 8.0 in a couple of days to address some ship-specific AA balancing, and you can still reset commanders and demount modules for free until early on Monday, so make sure you make the most of that. There'll be another free reset period in a few weeks as well. That's it from Foghorn for now. You may notice that I'm extremely close to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. When I hit 1,000, I'll be doing a giveaway on my next stream or possibly on my Discord, so do come and join the StatsBloke, links in the description. Until then, take care of each other, and I'll speak to you very soon.